when I talk to them is how I met Elvis. And so I'm going to tell you how I met Elvis. Now, you have my permission to boo whenever you want to. In fact, I might lead you in booing because I'm going to say some things that are a little bit off-putting to people until I finish the story. But I wind up a Elvis Presley fan, dedicated, and the best guy I ever worked with. So anyhow, I grew up I was the only Yankee in the TCB band, and I grew up in the San Francisco area in California, and I listened to black music and jazz in the San Francisco area, and consequently, I wasn't an Elvis fan. I didn't even like him. Okay. That's true. And I became a studio musician in Los Angeles, and I was playing on people's records and stuff. And James Burton called me up one morning. I was at home and with my partner at that time, Vivian, and James asked me, he said, we're rehearsing down here with Elvis, and we want you to come down and play with him. And I said to my partner, Vivian, I said, you're not going to believe this, but they want me to come down and play with Elvis. And So anyhow, I didn't have anything booked the next day, and I told her, I said, I'm going to go down and just meet this guy, see what's going on. So I went down there the next day, and I walked in, and I had on jeans and sandals and long hair. I just looked like, what was going on at that time in LA. And I walked in, and this really good-looking, very well-dressed, not rock and roll at all. He just had like maybe a cashmere sweater and slacks. Walked across the room, and I recognized him. And I thought, God, something's wrong here. What am I missing? He came over to me, and he said, Gary? And I said, yes. And he said, well, thank you for coming down and playing with me. And that sort of grabbed me. And I said, well, I don't know any of your songs. and it was true. I didn't know any of them. And he looked at me and he said, can you play the blues? And I said, yeah, I can play the blues. He says, let's go play the blues. And so we went up. Now, there was a drummer named Gene Pello. He's sort of a tight-ass LA studio guy, but he was the best drummer that they had come down and play. And so everybody thought that Gene Pello was going to be the drummer. And so I went up and played 3 songs with Elvis. It was bluesy type songs. And he said, great, we got a band. And Larry Mahobarak, the piano player, said, well, you know something, Elvis, we got this guy over here, Ronnie Tutt. And he drove all the way from Dallas and just to play with you. And Elvis said, oh, I'm sorry. He said, Ronnie, you go up and set up your drums. And Ronnie said, those are my drums. Gene Pello had been playing the drums. Anyhow, when Ronnie came up and played, I looked over at Gene Pello, and he knew that he had lost the game. So that was it. I went home and told Vivian, I said, well, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to go to work with Elvis Presley.